Real quick, Jelly Roll FAQs. Because I had to move. I had to leave Chicago. I don't live in Chicago anymore. I live deep, deep in the American flatlands. Because I lost my job of 6 years and couldn't stay in the city. That's why. No! Greetings all, ye shrews and froos and stablesmen. I am so glad to be doing this again. I had to take a little break. I hope to keep this up, but I can't promise anything because depression is a hell of a thing. What's this video gonna be about? Hey, did it work? Movie theaters in 2020. Everything that people tried, did it work out? The answer may surprise you. Might. I mean, obviously, there's been so much news that I missed over the last 2 months. I've been busy moving into this new house, getting the cats acclimated, getting used to a whole brand new way of living. And I gotta be perfectly frank with you, I couldn't actually care less about movie theaters. I'm doing this to try and do something creative with myself. I feel like it's been 2 months, a bunch of stuff has happened. I should probably drop my 2 cents on it before I move on to the next thing, you know? It seems like this year, theater owners were counting on a handful of things to save the industry. Not only these PPP loans, but also the people in their towns hoping to save their local theater. I definitely want to talk about what's been going on with indie theaters for the past couple of months, some things that I've noticed as of late. As far as AMC, Cinemark, Regal, they've been opening, closing, blaming everybody under the sun except for themselves and their own ownership. So, yeesh. What were the things that were going to save the theaters this year? Definitely Tenet, definitely James Bond, definitely Governor Cuomo and Governor Newsom opening up movie theaters in New York and California, respectively. As of today, there have been spikes pretty much across the country. It's getting warm, so I'm going to take off my fleece. I can talk about Tenet, I can talk about James Bond, I can talk about the National Association of Theater Owners and John Fithian and their insistence that this is all the government's fault for shutting down movie theaters. I can talk about those things, but I think what I need to talk about is why I don't give a crap about any of it anymore. And the fact is these guys are still clueless. The people that run movie theaters are still clueless and still throwing anything that they possibly can at the wall to justify their existence. And it's really starting to be a little pathetic. While people are getting sicker and sicker, and more people die, and more people get this thing, you have filmmakers who are off in their own little community and world writing a letter to Congress asking for money to give to the movie theaters so that the experience doesn't die. Meanwhile, I just read an article in Forbes like 2 days ago or so that says movie theaters haven't changed their model in 80 years. Think about everything that's happened in the past 80 years. They haven't done a damn thing about it. That includes home video, streaming.
If AMC had the foresight to create a streaming option first, it would have offered studios a powerful, complete distribution solution that took films seamlessly from theater to in-home, but it didn't. It could have created original content, but it didn't. AMC had a nearly 80-year advantage over Netflix, yet it could not think beyond its traditional business model. When its sole distribution was disrupted by cough and content from studios vanished, AMC's business ground to a halt. Making matters worse, theater chains have been anti-consumer for a long time. They raised prices on tickets and concessions to compensate for a dwindling customer base. They also restricted audience access to films by threatening studios with boycotts if studios attempted to offer films for in-home use too soon after the theatrical release began. Yet, consumers want to see films in the venues they wish, when they wish, at a price that fits their budgets. Theater chains denied consumers of this flexibility.
All of it. They want to stick to what they know. And unfortunately, it took something like the cough to really nail it down. Again, these huge movie theaters, who knows what they're going to do? Half the time they're saying one thing, half the time they're saying another thing. I think it's because the theaters themselves are talking to their shareholders. Meanwhile, reporters and analysts are actually looking at the realistic gist of the situation. I read an article that said that in the time that these theaters were closed, what they decided to do was renovate the space and put in a smoothie bar, rather than anything else that they could do to save this industry that they so badly love, but they refuse to take credit for anything other than, I don't know, the success of multi-billion-dollar movies, which is kind of insane considering what you're seeing coming to Prime, what you're seeing coming to Disney Plus, and how you can see this whole thing phase shifting from movie theater distribution to corporate digital platforms. And it seems to be bumming some people out. I'm just glad that more people are coming to terms with all of this as we consider what happens this year, as we consider, there's going to be a big fight over Christmas. It's up to Warner Brothers again with Wonder Woman 84 to decide whether to move things or not. We'll see how many cases spike in the meantime, because literally nothing else is coming out. Meanwhile, Disney Plus moved Soul, which was going to be a huge Pixar movie in the theater. Very good reviews. When a Pixar movie gets good reviews and is original, they usually do through the roof at the theater. They moved that to Disney Plus for Christmas. Amazon just bought Borat 2 for $80 million and Coming to America 2 for $120 million so that they can have content over the holidays, so that you're watching Amazon Prime while you're digging around looking for Christmas presents and returning your Christmas presents. Those moves are being made. Meanwhile, they're putting $70 million into a reshoot of a movie that was already released theatrically. We're talking about Justice League, the Snyder Cut. We're making this epic... $70 million is 2 moderately budgeted comedies. That's 2 Seth Rogen movies. 2 pickles. They're putting that all into Justice League and dropping that onto HBO Max. We're starting to see how much money they're willing to put into their own streaming services. And if Wonder Woman 87 ends up going straight to HBO Max, which I'm not saying it's going to, I think that's going to be the last case scenario. I think that's the last thing they want to do. But it may happen if that's what it comes down to. That'll be a real game changer, obviously. You're seeing what happened with Mulan. I saw some people on Reddit say, they're starting to to sell Mulan for $30 on Amazon and iTunes. This proves that their logic was faulty and that release was a big muck-up. And to that I say, I disagree. Any other movie gets that kind of wide platform distribution at a certain point in their window. It was exclusively for Disney Plus for a long time. Now you still have to pay. You can pay Disney Plus, you can pay Amazon. Amazon gets a little cut, right? But Disney still makes most of it. iTunes, all of the movie buying apps, right? Where Disney still gets a huge chunk of the profit, just has to give away a little bit more. And then they're going to drop it for free on Christmas on their own platform. So you'll still be able to buy it for $30 on Amazon or watch it for free on their own platform. I'd say that is 100% successful. That's 100% successful. And I would love for someone to explain in the comments dispassionately and logistically why that's a loss, because I just don't see it. Meanwhile, they're ramping up Mandalorian. They're ramping up all of their Marvel stuff. Like, they're not looking to make a home in theaters, really. I mean, the dude said it himself. They're really going to be focusing on Disney Plus now. And what you've seen this year in 2020 is what I've been telling people privately, which is this is Disney being good sportsmen. They're saying, no business is not good business. Let's have some competition. But we can afford to just nail this. They could have dropped Mulan for free on their own platform if they so wanted to. But they're being good sportsmen. And I know that there's more detail to that I could get more into that, but I think maybe that's for a different video. That's a lot. Meanwhile, Amazon Prime has all the money in the world to acquire these movies, and they're trying to get Christmas fare. Everyone's trying to gear up for the holidays right now. So we'll see what Warner decides to do. If they drop Wonder Woman any other way than theatrical. And the state of my poor indies, the local theater where I live is selling passes for $20 to help keep the place alive while there's no content. Because no one is coming. No one wants to come face the cough for Hocus Pocus or The Empire Strikes Back. So they're selling little paper passes for future admission. Just as a carryover. And it came with a really sweet yet melancholy note from the owner saying, we gave so much to this community. We really don't know how we're going to stay in business. Please, if you love us, give us back. Which I have kind of split feelings on because I've worked at an indie and it's still a business, even though there is a human heart to it all. And indies are really the guys that are really going to get hit and have been consistently getting hit this entire time since March. My old theater is now selling candy 2 for $1 and also offering theaters for rental privately. And I think you can play Xbox and watch your own movies, invite your own friends, people that you feel are safe to come have a private show in their big theater. But as I've said in previous videos, no movie theater would ever offer anything like that if things were going well. And it's only getting worse because they killed the slate until December. And depending on how cases go, up or down, we're going to see what ends up getting released on streaming and what they're going to really try and push through the theater hole. Thank you everybody for joining me for season 2. I'm really excited to continue making these videos. I will report on the news as I see fit. I think what I want to spend more time doing is positively talking about movies that I love, kind of taking the back half of these episodes and just talking about movie recs. I got a few kind of lists that I have in mind, and I like talking about positive things. I feel like a lot of YouTube is a lot of, I'm so exasperated. Oh my God, I'm so exasperated. Can you believe this? She ate ice cream. Can you believe this? And then like sobbing, I'm so sorry. It's all very, I'm painfully addicted to it. But I don't want to add to that. In the old videos, someone on Reddit was like, you look like somebody has a gun to your head while you're talking about the future of cinema. And it kind of felt like that. I didn't know if I had a job, if I had to leave, and now I don't have a job, and I did have to leave. But I'm really comfortable where I am, and so now I can finally start doing this again. And hopefully I'll have a little bit better energy instead of like snotting all over and just sobbing and crying and say, oh, why the movie theaters? You're all gonna get sick. Oh. So look for that in the future on Jelly Roll Chicago. The song of this episode is Isn't It a Pity by George Harrison for 2 reasons. One, isn't it? In regards to just everything right now. One of my favorite songs to sing along to that I can't sing along to because of my Vermont accent. I genuinely say Isn't It a Pity. The book of the episode is Mark Twain's Following the Equator. I'll be honest with you, I haven't finished yet. I'm about 8 or so chapters in. This is an illustrated version. Oh no! Oh no! It's a travelogue of a speaking tour that he did all around the world, where he starts in San Francisco, goes to Hawaii, Fiji, all the way around to different British colonies, and he talks about colonialism and kind of how fucked up it is, which is really refreshing for the time that it was written. It was written in 1897. And the humor holds up, believe it or not. I'm actually listening to it on audiobook, and everything that he writes is told as a yarn, so having somebody read it to you is a great idea. The movie of the episode is a movie I had never heard of before a few months ago called Rhinoceros. And it stars Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder. They're only repairing after the producers. And this is based on an Ionesco play. And the movie does feel like a play, but the performances are top notch. And I'll tell you right now, you can find it for free on YouTube, and I'll link it below. It's the story of a man who's not very happy in his job. And all of a sudden, one day, people that he knows start slowly turning into rhinoceri. They start getting crazy for no reason, start being bullish and destroying things and running around town and screaming and just completely incomprehensible. And slowly but surely, one by one, every character that this guy knows turns into a rhinoceros. And you guys gotta watch Zero Mostel transform into a rhinoceros. I will put the link below. Please watch it. It was written as a response to World War II. The movie was made in the 70s. It really does hold up today. Shout outs to Mom, I love you. And Bones, thank you for your special insight. And also, I love you. Please join me on Twitch. I'm trying to write and hang out on Twitch every single day. Here's the link. Hang out with me. I'm so lonely. I'm so painfully lonely while I'm there. Thank you so much. I'm excited for things to come, and I will see you
in the future.
Thinking of saying goodbye to gas?
You betcha.
Bart? Well, that shut me up.